Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Today's date is Friday, the 26th of December. As you can tell, we're not in the usual position. We're not in the usual place. We're not in the gym. So it's a bit of a strange observation. But why? Why? Well, as you can see, the date's coming ahead and we're quickly approaching 2026. I mean, I don't think much needs to be said about how fast time is going lately and how the years are just drifting by now. But I think it's good that you come together at the end of a year, because I use it as like a timestamp throughout the year. It marks, New Year for me marks another year passing by. And this year has been an eventful year, you know? And I think it's important to reflect back on that. So I think without anything before we go any further, that it's important that we do reflect on that. And what better way than reflecting on the year than simply by writing down your achievements and everything. My studying, all the study notes, as you can already see. Okay, so I brought up a little whiteboard, as you can tell, and the plan is to go through the year and break it down in full, and to go over the year and see how everything went, really, you know. For me, I'd say this has been a productive year and an eventful year nevertheless. I mean, considering who I was at the start of the year compared to who I am now, would I change things is the question. And for me, it's no. I wouldn't change things, because everything that's happened this year from January all the way to December, it's taught me a lot, and it's led me to the person I am now. And that's why I think I wouldn't regret it, because I'm quite comfortable within myself and who I am. I mean, like, you can sit there and judge me, that's all you want, you know. But if people judge me, I don't take it personally. I mean, I try to be liked by everyone, you know. But there's some people in the world that you can't please. And it's most important that you put yourself first before you put anyone else. And I think that's a lesson I learned this year too. So I think January this year, I gotta be honest, January all the way up to, I'm gonna say, March, it's much of a blur, if I'm honest. Like, for me, it just went like that. It felt like I was living a different life. I mean, I know what I was up to during that time. I mean, I had my A-levels, and I was so stressed for those exams that I did fumbled so hard. I didn't come out with the best grades. But I think that was mainly because I'd done 5 A-levels. I mean, it's more than what most were doing. Balancing everything together. It's, create a little spider diagram. So I had my job, McDonald's. alongside, 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 and I mean, it can quite clearly see how a week can be taken up by that. So, when I was revising, and when it came to revising, I was absolutely shattered because of all those things. Because when I did get free time, I just wanted to relax. You know? So, when it comes to that, it was clear why I didn't get the grades that I wanted to get in the end. But that was January to March. April came around. Quite a few things happened in April. I mean, end of relationships. End of rugby. That was a big one for me. Going into June, I'm going to put June and July together. I mean, I'd done a cycling pilgrimage. Oh yeah, probably should add that up there too. Cycling training. I cycled a pilgrimage. Santiago de Compostela, Camino Frances route. And it was a 550-mile pilgrimage across from Saint John de Port in, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, in France, all the way to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. That was like weeks long. I'm pretty sure it lasted 2 weeks, roughly. Deadly, absolutely deadly. And I'd say that's one of my biggest commitments biggest achievements, not commitments, achievements this year. I'm quite proud of. Never in a million years would I ever think that I'd be able to cycle from one end to the other like that. I'd also say rugby tour was a big one here. This isn't exactly how it went down. I mean, it's not perfect chronologically, but it's pretty good on point for like the main points for each month. Rugby tour was a big one in this month. My first time going on rugby tour, and Obviously, it was to mark the end of rugby. It was pretty good. I mean, absolutely insane. I mean, I'd done a mud run, and it was nuts. Absolutely nuts. Really fun. Really good fun. From there, June, July, I'm probably forgetting a few things. I'd say from there, it leads straight to August. If I can spell for the life of me. Now we're talking. Spelling ain't great. Never has been. But that's okay. Everyone has their weaknesses, right? From August, I went and I started going to the gym. And I started reaching out to my friends a lot more. Because obviously 6 weeks holidays. I also put myself into work then. So, work-based. I started putting myself into more shifts, throwing myself into work to distract my mind, really, from all of the past 2 months. Yeah. I also started like, I'm gonna say hiking. It's not really hiking. I started going on like days out. Like going places, and like I started going out more and finding myself a bit more. I started doing what I enjoyed, and I love going out and just seeing the world, you know? I went to some amazing waterfalls. I started going on cycle rides again. I know I'd done Santiago, but cycle rides were like, it just gets your mind off things. You know, you don't need music. Music can sometimes help, but even without music, it's like, it gives you time and space to think, and it gets you away from things. Then, obviously, waterfalls. I went to go see a lot of waterfalls and just go out a lot more. I just feel like spiritually, more than ever, I was like back to myself again. Like, I felt like myself more. I mean, that is not my happiness. That is too much. But I'd say here is when let's go back to college now. So let's start back in September. This is what life was looking like. Priorities had been shifted. I mean, I could do a priorities list and a little diagram from there, like a diamond 9 or something. But from there, it went to obviously college still. Work. But I lowered it in September to like 2 times a week. College, obviously still full time. No more cycling, so Santiago was off the list. Obviously social, I'd say still social, but what I'm going to put there instead is I'm going to put the gym, because I got to see friends from like my other colleges around here, and like I got to meet up with a lot of friends that I hadn't been in touch with since secondary. So I found that going to the gym a lot more. I'd say now the gym replacement for rugby, essentially 2-3 times a week, was the gym. And I mean, the perks of that was that the main reason is so that I could boost my mental health, and I feel like I started to take care of myself more. I started meditating, being more in tune with myself, and like just taking care of myself. I mean, diet was a big thing. Diet totally changed. I mean, I learned to cook. I mean, this is more September notes here. So diet, learned to cook. We'll wipe that off here. That can go here as well. Meditating. So yeah, let's get rid of a few of these. So social commitments ended up blending into one. So we'll add gym social or gym friends. I'm gonna put, and then it just seems a lot more simple. I'm still doing drama once a week here in September. Let's have a look again. I also dropped an A level, so 4 A levels instead of 5. So minus drama A level. So while I still was a part of a group, I no longer done the drama A level, which gave me more time in college, I'd say, for my free time. So it allowed me to get that release in college a bit more, or it allowed me to get more free time in the evening and spend more time in college doing the things I would usually be doing at home, which also like helped me get back on my feet in terms of homework. I mean, the goal alignment here from August to September was a huge difference. I mean, I spent a lot of time like on my free time during this time just to mentally reset. And I think this is the big reason as to why I feel like this year was 2 different lives within itself, because I got to spend that time just looking in the mirror and being like, who is Logan Rawlins? Who am I as a person? And just realigning your goals into, and realigning them into who you want to be and the person you want to become. And for me, it was to not be wasting as much time into the things that I didn't want to be doing in my future, and like the main thing for me, was prioritizing. And that word in itself, what does it mean? What is prioritizing? And I typically overlook that word. For some, it's simple, but prioritizing. When you don't prioritize something, and when you do prioritize things. So when you prioritize things, it's typically because you care. But when you don't prioritize something that you do still care about, but you don't prioritize it because it doesn't align with your goals, I always used to think that I didn't care. But the truth is, you don't need to prioritize something to care. Like, even the things that you don't get round to doing, it doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean that. You can still care about something and not prioritize it. I mean, you care about your family and your distant family and your distant cousins, like you wouldn't wish no harm upon no one. You care about your distant friends that you haven't spoken to in 10 years. You wouldn't wish harm upon them, but your priorities lie closer to you and within the center of your life. So priority was a big word this year and something that I had to learn, because I found that I was giving my energy to the wrong things, and it leads you into being a shell of the person that you want to be, and it doesn't allow you to be the person that you do want to be. It holds you back. So prioritizing. So I had a mental reset. I sat down and I was able to reset, debrief from everything that happened, everything that was going on in my life, all the stress, and just going through a stage of acceptance, accepting everything, and just learning the word priority, really, and prioritizing the importance of it, because it's so important that you have your priorities right. If you don't have your priorities right, then you cannot be the person that you want to be or get to the place that you want to get to. I mean, every person has their own goals, their own ambition, and things that their hobbies, their goals, and things like that. And your friends should always be pushing you towards your goals, towards what you want to do. I mean, your friends shouldn't be putting you down, because at that point, they're not your true friends, you know? Like, fair enough if you're, like, giving someone some advice and you're trying to, like, help them, but no negativity. You should prioritize the people that support you and not the people that trying to put you down, you know? That's my amazing drawing there. I'm not great at drawing, but it's okay. We try. So September, I mean, I started just doing a bit more, really. In terms of coming back to college, I felt like a different person. I'm not sure, like, in terms of date, I think it was in September here that I also started. It might be, yeah, I think it was slightly before, in August, just before breakup. Yeah. Let's go to November. November, you have Halloween. You've got some big events that happened in November. I think for me, this was like peak locking in and just focused. I was so focused during this month. I mean, in terms of studying, I'd say yes and no. In terms of, like, law, psychology and sociology, my core subjects that I've taken for A-level, yes. Welsh back, not so much. I'd say that I fumbled out a bit. But, nevertheless, I was locked in. I mean, I was eating right, focusing on my diet. I was sleeping right for the first time in a while. I say sleeping right. My sleep's been a bit rough. It's very inconsistent. But I was 9 times out of 10 getting in bed for the right amount of hours, or doing what you can do as best as you can to promote your sleep. I mean, I even bought an eye mask. Yeah, granted, it's not the most greatest thing in the world. But sleep is so important, and you need to recharge in order to exert the same amount of energy day after day after day. I was eating right, sleeping right, I was studying, getting ahead of homework, just in the gym in the evenings. I was just building strength, and I'm quite happy with my November. I mean, Halloween, I went out. Early November to early December. Obviously, I had 18th birthday in September. Should probably add that in, just 18, casual. I didn't do much from 18th. I mean, I went on a nice family meal. I went to the casino. I had one drink, a couple of drinks, but Nothing major. I mean, I wasn't trying to get drunk. December. Obviously now we're in December still, but I'd say between November and December I started going out clubbing. So I'm gonna write clubbing. And I mean, I haven't been out that much. I've been out a bit. And there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of negatives to clubbing. And the positives is networking. You get to see a lot of people your age, you get to hang out with them, and you get to catch up with friends. It's a positive environment, but it's also a lot of negative because it typically involves a lot of heavy drinking. Not all people will, but some people will indulge in heavy drinking, and sometimes it's just not a great vibe to be in. But as long as it's moderately controlled, it can be entertaining and it can be a good thing. I'm not against clubbing by all means, but it's not the most productive thing you should be doing all the time, and you shouldn't be focused on just going to the next, when you're next going out, when you're next going clubbing, you know? It's about having your priorities aligned with doing things you enjoy with also doing things that you need to do. And I'd say that I went out quite a bit, like 4 times roughly over a 4-week period. And that was a lot. I mean, I'd been experiencing hangovers. It's just not a great place to be, don't get me wrong. It's expensive. That's another key thing for me. And that's about going out, is that like you can go out other places, like you can be tactical about it, if you will. You can go out, you can get drinks in other places, or you can drink beforehand. It's like, I don't know. You're going out, you're spending money when you could be in work earning money. It sounds boring, don't get me wrong. You gotta live your youth, but at the same time, if you're that focused on your goals and you're not bothered as such about that, then it can be seen as a distraction sometimes. You can see why some people may view it as a negative rather than a positive. And for me, I'm more in the middle. Like, I see a lot of the negatives. I see the positives. So I try to find a balance, because I'm not clubbing every weekend. Don't get me wrong. It's New Year's next week. Will I go out? I don't think I will. High chance I'm not going to. There's a slight chance I will. Probably less than 10%. I mean, no, just not. Again, going back over here to September. 18th birthday here is key. I got a car off my dad, and my mum, which is very nice. But the key thing for me here was starting driving lessons. I passed my theory in August, just after like Santiago, I think. And I've been doing driving lessons since, and it's going pretty well. And do I think I'm a few months off passing? Probably. Well, I mean, only time will tell. But December for me, the first few weeks, I'd say the first 3 weeks then, up to the 21st year, in college, still like focused on the gym, on college work, and just building up. And I'm in a good place in terms of where I'm at. But I worked Christmas Eve. And I'm working New Year's Eve coming up now. So this is upcoming. So upcoming then is New Year's Eve. Then also New Year's Day, which I'll be working both. I mean, now we're coming up to end of year. Obviously, I know that January 6th, I'll be returning to college. And I've still got a lot of college work to get on with. I'm going to call it homework. It's not necessarily homework, it's more of catch up. I mean, I got lots of revision maps to make. I've got a lot of content to condense ready for the exams, because I know from January then it's the run up to Easter and then straight into exams. And that within itself is going to be challenging. I mean, I applied to uni in November, early entry. I applied to Oxford, but was recently rejected. But I got accepted into Cardiff, waiting on Bristol, and I'm still waiting on LSE and UCL. But aside from that, I'd say another big thing that's happened this year for me was just trying new things and just going out there a lot more. In a summary, compared to like how my year has gone, from trying to juggle all those different things at the start to where I am now, it's quite impressive. I mean, for everything that I was doing, and I burnt out so much. But I'm proud of myself. I mean, I can look back on this year and I can say that I have less commitments, but I'm more focused on my commitments than ever before. I mean, the biggest thing for me now, going obviously into our new year, I had the return to rugby in December. Still yet to play a game. Obviously Boxing Day today, I went down and had a game for Boxing Day. But it's not the same as playing for real, you know. But the biggest achievements this year, I'd say, is Santiago de Compostela. And then I would say just going out there and finding a new part of myself. So I'm just going to say, what can we call that? Mindset, I'm going to say. Or should I just mindset, priorities? Mindset, priorities, we're going to call it. And then I'd say rugby. That is a big thing that happened this year. And juggling everything and the gym and sports. Just change it to sports, because that would be right. Sports and then health, which I think both come hand in hand. Both of those points. For everything I've done in terms of college and everything this year, I think the main thing going into next year is to keep making progress. Like I said, this year for me, I think, has been an eye-opener into a lot. And it feels like a blink of an eye, despite the fact that the first few months felt like a blur compared to the rest. It's literally felt like a different life. And I can't wait for next year, because although it's going to be freaky and scary, if you will, to be experiencing uni, which is totally different to, I think, college and secondary. I mean, only time will tell with that as well. But going to uni and out of this area will be interesting. Obviously, you got exams and everything's just fast approaching, you know. I just sometimes feel like you want us to be able to stop time to just keep everything together and just hold on to memories. But the value in that memory is because you can't slow down time, and because time is constantly moving along a continuum. And I'm looking forward to next year, but I'm also enjoying this New Year period now. Just the run up to next year, because I think it's going to be interesting. I really do. I'm quite interested into seeing what I'm going to do next. I'm quite interested to see what this year brings for me. And I think just continuing what I've been doing these last couple of months, bringing it forward to next year, it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to it nevertheless. Again, this video is just me reflecting upon this year. And everyone has had a very different year to themselves. So leading into next year now, I hope everyone enjoys the holidays. Have a good New Year. Have a good Christmas. And it's going to be a good year. It's going to be exciting. I'm very optimistic for what the future holds. Returning to normal videos as of next week probably. And thank you very much for watching. I know it's a bit different, and maybe we'll sit down next year and do the exact same thing. Who knows? Who knows where life will take us next? Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.